Hello Americans channel. This video is made by free videos from Storyblocks, and these images and video we use just for explanation, and it's free use also.
Family found strange egg from this chicken. When they open it, they turn pale. It was an ordinary morning for the Thompson family. The sun had just begun to rise, casting a soft glow over their farmhouse. Their chickens, as usual, were clucking in the backyard, pecking at the dirt. Mrs. Thompson, known for her early riser habits, went out to check on the hens, as she did every day. However, that day was different. Among the usual cluster of eggs she collected was one that didn't quite look like the others. It was larger, with a strange, almost iridescent sheen to it. Mrs. Thompson hesitated for a moment. Could it be a freak of nature, or perhaps one of her hens had just laid an unusual egg? She decided to bring it inside and show her family. Her husband, Mr. Thompson, was the first to inspect it. "It's a bit odd looking," he commented, turning the egg over in his hands. "But nothing to worry about, right?" The kids, curious as ever, gathered around as Mrs. Thompson placed the egg on the kitchen counter. They discussed whether it could be from a different breed of chicken or just a weird anomaly. But as they examined it, they couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. With a sense of wonder and unease, they decided to crack it open. Mrs. Thompson grabbed a small knife and carefully made an incision along the shell. What they saw next made them all freeze in shock. The inside of the egg was unlike anything they had ever seen. Instead of the usual yolk and egg white, the contents were a strange, viscous, translucent substance, almost glowing in the dim kitchen light. It looked like something straight out of a science fiction movie. The family members stared at it, their faces slowly draining of color as they tried to make sense of what was in front of them. Suddenly, a small movement caught their attention. It was subtle at first, but enough to make them gasp. The viscous liquid inside the egg seemed to ripple, as though something was alive inside it. "What is that?" one of the children whispered in disbelief. Fear began to creep in as they realized they weren't just dealing with a strange egg. Whatever was inside it, whatever had laid it, was something entirely out of the ordinary. Panic slowly set in as they realized this wasn't something they could explain away. Could it have been some sort of rare or mutated creature? Had something from outside their world laid it? The questions flooded their minds faster than they could process them. The Thompsons' once peaceful farm had become the center of a mystery they didn't know how to solve. They weren't sure whether to be scared or fascinated. All they knew was that their world was now forever changed by the discovery of that strange egg. The shadows in the kitchen seemed to grow longer, and they could feel the weight of the unknown pressing down on them. And so, the mystery of the egg would linger in their lives, unanswered, leaving them to wonder what truly lay beyond the farm's familiar borders.